The killing of Yemen's former president Ali Abdullah Saleh on Monday was indeed an important development. A development which many believe could sooner or later affect Yemen's political sphere. Some are even speculating that it could affect the course of a multiple-year war that the Saudis have waged on the country. Saleh was a veteran politician known to many as a deal-maker. But to the Houthi Ansarullah fighters, he had to pay a heavy price for the last deal he had in his pocket to present to the Saudis. To them, for a politician who had joined hands with them to fight for Yemen's sovereignty, it was both treachery and treason to turn to the same alliance they were fighting with. An alliance that has been trying to dictate its own will on the Yemenis, albeit at the cost of thousands of lives.
So it's very difficult to have just one opinion with him, because he was many people at the same time, and you never truly knew who you were talking to. And I think from his point of view, it was always about, protecting his political legacy. And one that meant, promoting Yemen's interest, then so be it. But it also meant that he was quite willing to sell his country down the river.
Saleh will be largely remembered for his role in uniting Yemen back in 1990. He had also won international praise for carrying out economic reforms devised by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. But he had to the same degree drawn scorn at home for quelling an uprising for secession in the south in 1994, and also a crackdown on the Houthis in 2004. Saleh's relationship with Saudi Arabia throughout his career has also been that of a frequent marriage and divorce. He angered the Saudis by siding with the former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein during the occupation of Kuwait in the early 1990s. But he later used their support in his own crackdown in the south and north. Relations with Riyadh again turned sour after he joined hands with the Houthis. And as recently as last week, he said he was open to talks with the Saudis to end the war on Yemen.
One of his achievements, I would say, was to manage to unite Yemen into, again, this cohesive republic, and actually manage to make Yemen stronger to some extent. Because, united Yemen is always better than fragmented Yemen. That being said, to achieve unification, he sold out Yemen to Saudi Arabia, because we have to understand that back in 1994, when Yemen was actually North Yemen was about to lose the war to South Yemen, he brokered an alliance with Saudi Arabia, whereby he was, opening up the country to, to the Wahhabi ideology for the sake of military support against southern Yemen.
Saudi Arabia is undoubtedly the main party that many blame for the current plight of the Yemenis. The death of Saleh, with whom the Saudis were trying to cut a deal with against the Houthis, could only intensify the war on Yemen. This is specifically the case when considering that the former Yemeni president was the only hope for Riyadh to put an end to the costly war through talks.
This option that was still on the table of a possible potential negotiation with the Saudi military coalition is now gone, because he's dead. And I think it's going to be very difficult now, because new lines have been drawn in the sand, if you will, military speaking, in between Yemen and Saudi Arabia. And I don't think that Riyadh now wants to talk to anybody, and I doubt that Sayyid Abdul al-Houthi wants to speak to anyone in Riyadh because of the situation and the betrayal he felt was architected by Saudi Arabia by way of Saleh leading this resistance coalition.
It may now be high time that international organizations like the United Nations intensify their efforts to broker peace in Yemen. But that would not be possible without forcing Saudi Arabia to stop its military interference in the country. The world will specifically need to tell the Saudis that the Houthis are part of the Yemeni population that have already made clear they will not accept the language of force.